the finest furniture destination of Tamil Nadu, Newman's Furniture and Homestyle, Coimbatore.
ஆப்கானிஸ்தான் காபூலில் உள்ள இந்தியர்களை காக்க மத்திய அரசு தவறிவிட்டது என்றும் மத்திய அரசின் அரசியல் செயல்பாடுகள் ஜனநாயக நாட்டை உருக்குலைக்கும் நடவடிக்கையாகவே உள்ளது என்றும் சிபிஎம்மின் அகில இந்திய பொதுச் செயலாளர் சீதாராம் யெச்சூரி கோவையில் செய்தியாளர்கள் சந்திப்பின் போது தெரிவித்துள்ளார். சிபிஎம் மாவட்ட செயற்குழு கூட்டம் 2 நாட்கள் கோவையில் நடைபெறுவதையொட்டி அகில இந்திய பொதுச் செயலாளர் சீதாராம் யெச்சூரி கோவைக்கு வருகை தந்துள்ளார். இந்நிலையில் இன்று காந்திபுரம் பகுதியில் உள்ள சிபிஎம் மாவட்ட அலுவலகத்தில் செய்தியாளர்களை சந்தித்த அவர், இந்தியாவில் கொரோனா 3ஆம் அலை வரும் நிலையில் தடுப்பூசி போடும் பணிகளை அரசு தீவிரப்படுத்த வேண்டும் என தெரிவித்தார். மேலும் தடுப்பு மருந்து இருப்பு குறித்து தெளிவான, வெளிப்படையான தகவலை மத்திய அரசு தெரிவிப்பதில்லை என்று குற்றம் சாட்டியவர், பிஜேபி நடத்தி வரும் யாத்திரைகள் மூலம் 3ஆம் கொரோனா அலை ஏற்படும் அபாயம் நிச்சயம் உள்ளது என்று அவர் தெரிவித்தார். நிகழ்வில் எம்பி PR நடராஜன், சிபிஎம் அரசியல் தலைமைக்குழு உறுப்பினர் G ராமகிருஷ்ணன் ஆகியோர் கலந்து கொண்டனர்.
Good morning to all of you. So I hope all of you are keeping safe. Coimbatore, I believe, is the district with the highest number of number one in the state. So please take care. Yes, I mean this country is going through a very, very grave situation. The COVID mismanagement by the central government has reached such a stage where now it is impossible for the Modi government to achieve the target of vaccinating all adult population by the end of the year. If that has to be achieved, the target, we need to vaccinate more than 1 crore a day till 31st of December. There are no vaccine supplies. In one day in the parliament, in the same day, in answers to 3 different questions, the government gave 3 different answers on what is the availability of vaccines. That means there is absolutely no concrete planning in terms of procuring vaccines. They are refusing to allow public sector undertakings who have capacity to produce vaccines from augmenting our supplies. Like there is a factory in Tamil Nadu, which in Chengalpet, Kunnur. And despite your chief minister making these appeals to the center, they are just refusing. They are not procuring globally. They are not giving licenses to global known vaccines which are being used all over the world. So this COVID mismanagement is there actually now. It appears they are inviting the third wave. This will be very devastating for the people of India. It's highly irresponsible for them, and that is why we are saying immediately procure vaccines, augment production domestically. Whatever shortfall is there, procure globally, but speed up this vaccination to more than 1 crore a day. Now this has come along with the economic recession deepening. Now the IMF has reduced India's growth rate projection from 12.5 to 9.5. And this has resulted in large-scale closure of our industries. All our 8 major, what is called the major industries that are biggest employment generator, and the MSMEs. In Coimbatore, you must be very familiar with your pump capital that you are, with all of them being closed. And lakhs of people, in fact, joining on crores. Now estimates are also going awry because you just can't count. The number of people who are going back to the farms, not for work, but to survive. There's already surplus there of working people, but they're going back to the farms only to survive. Now, this unemployment is leading to greater poverty, hunger, and on top of that is this price rise. I mean, this is criminal what Modi government is doing, continuing to hike excise duties on petroleum products. And yesterday the finance minister makes an atrocious statement. It's amazing how brazen they can be in telling the untruth. This government has already become famous globally as the no data government. The finance minister says that the increase in the prices of petrol, diesel and cooking gas is because the Modi government is paying back the dues, arrears of the oil bonds taken by the UPA government. Now these arrears of the UPA government oil bonds, her own figures, are close to 1.56 lakh crores. In 2021, one financial year 21, the government made 3.71 lakh crores as revenue from these excise duties. In the last 7 years, the Modi government made 15.6 lakh crores from these hikes in excise duties. And this is 1,56,000 crores of these arrears. That is blamed for the rise in the prices. But the actual reason is these hikes in excise duty. So CPM has been demanding withdraw these hikes completely. Only then overall inflation can be contained. The overall inflation rising, food prices, everything, is because of this transportation costs. Now, subsidies on gas cylinders is virtually off. It's completely gone. So the great Ujjwala program of Prime Minister, now he is launched. I would say amazing. I mean, how brazen again they can be. Now he is launched an Ujjwala Yojana 2. Subsidies is withdrawn and Ujjwala 2. What is the meaning of that? Just propaganda and big large-scale advertisements. So the lives of the people are completely ruined. We are saying give direct cash transfer to every family that does not pay income tax of rupees 7,500 per month till the situation comes under control. And your food grains are rotting in your central godowns, FCI godowns. Distribute them, distribute food kits to everybody so that this hunger issue, where even global indices have put us at a very, very dismal state. I mean, they just don't listen to any of this. But they are continuously focusing on their own agenda, and that is sharpening communal polarization. Now, new laws. Earlier it was love jihad and cow protection. Now on population, on movement of cattle. Anything to stoke communal passions between the religious minorities and the majority. The whole idea is to somehow consolidate the Hindutva communal vote bank as the UP elections come. And all this is based on a campaign of untruths. Now people are seeing through all this, and that is why Mr. Modi's ratings yesterday, one of the media houses has reported, has plummeted to the lowest of 24%. And this is creating a great degree of unrest amongst the people and anger. So the CPIM has decided that in the month of September, we will conduct an all nationwide protest campaign, and we will also appeal to all the other parties who are willing to come on these demands for people's welfare and to control the pandemic. We are also appealing to them to join. It's now been decided, we are just working out. I'm also in talks with all the other leaders of other political parties. On the 20th of this month, at least 20 parties, opposition parties who agree on these demands will have an online meeting with the highest political leadership of these parties participating. Till now in the parliament, this coordination between the opposition parties has been very, very good this time. And that is because the way they're treating the parliament. I mean, we've never seen, I've been in parliament for many, many years. I've never seen the ruling party and the government disrupting the house. The house is being disrupted through the presiding officers and the ruling party. Why they don't want any discussion on this Pegasus? And this Pegasus spyware thing, please understand. It is not only a violation of my personal privacy. It's a fundamental right. That is being violated. But look at the timing when this Pegasus was used. In May 2019, on the eve of your general election, or during that. And who are the people targeted? Political leaders, a former Justice of the Supreme Court, a former Election Commissioner, a former CBI Director, and of course the media. So this is not merely destruction of my fundamental right of personal privacy. It's a destruction of your democracy and your democratic institutions. Targeting the Supreme Court, politicians are targeting the Parliament, targeting the Supreme Court, targeting the CBI directors, targeting the Election Commission. This is brazen destruction of Indian democracy. That's why a high-powered judicial inquiry is essential. Those petitions are going on, and yesterday they made some brazen comments saying that nothing of that has been done. And they said, the petitioners refused to accept it. So then they said, if we give an affidavit saying that we have not used the Pegasus, will the petitioners withdraw the petition? For a government to say such a thing to the Solicitor General itself is an admission that they have used it. So, but in this disruption, they passed 18 bills. This is nothing but what I have said in the Parliament also when I was an MP. This is the tyranny of the majority. This is not democracy. This is the tyranny of the majority, and through that they are destroying our democracy. So protesting against all this, this is the action program that we have given a call. And I am sure the 20 parties, 20 plus parties that will meet, they will also take a similar action program. So in the month of September, we'll have, but for the COVID protocols and all this, naturally we'll have to fashion our protests in such a manner that we don't violate. We don't want to our protests in such a manner that we don't violate. We don't want to violate, those protocols. The Prime Minister and the BJP are not bothered about that. They've now started saying that they'll take, 126 yatras by the new ministers all over the country, 13,000 public meetings, crossing 22 states, another mega super spreader when we don't have vaccines to actually protect our people. They are irresponsible, but we will be responsible. We'll maintain the protocols and then conduct our protest movements. So this in a nutshell is all that. Your question of declaring the 14th of August, the Independence Day of Pakistan, as the day of remembrance of the horrors of the partition. Now you see, the partition was one of the most disastrous events in modern history. It was the biggest human transmigration that civilization has witnessed in peacetime. In war we can understand. In peacetime, such a big transmigration taking place. Millions crossing over the borders, and more than a million, and even that is unaccountable, the number of people who died. Those horrors are there, but we went beyond those horrors by adopting our constitution, by adopting our secular democratic republic, and that was our answer to the partition. India refused to be a mirror image of Pakistan. Pakistan was a religious theocracy, Islamic republic. The RSS in India wanted a Hindu theocracy, the Hindu or the Hindutva Rashtra. But the national movement and Indian people refused to accept that, and we adopted a secular democratic constitution. That is the answer. Strengthening that constitution is the answer to the horrors of partition. What Modi's government is doing is destroying this very constitution. So you're just playing into the hands of that horror. Secondly, the partition's ideological foundation was the two-nation theory. Who was the first one who propounded two-nation theory in India? In 1938, Hindu Mahasabha Conference, the presidential address, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar was the president of the Hindu Mahasabha. He, for the first time in the presidential address says, for the first time in India ever, says in India there exist two nations, a Muslim nation and a Hindu nation. He repeats it in 1939, Hindu Mahasabha presidential address. In 1940, Muhammad Ali Jinnah responds saying that I agree, there are two nations. And from 41, 42, that whole thing, Muslim League, starts off its thing. So the originators of the two-nation theory are they. And they are the ones who brought this mayhem into the country with all these communal rights. And now they are talking in these terms. So this is something that we think that they're doing great disservice. And the only way they want to get out of the misery they are imposing onto the people and the people's discontent against them is by rousing such passions and hoping that politically they'll gain. But that is not going to happen. People have seen through, and that is and these assembly election results have shown. Even in Assam, where they formed the government, the difference in the vote share is 0.78% between the two formations. BJP got 0.78% more votes than the opposition Mahajut. That's all. The rest of the places, they were completely rejected. Let us see what the government of India says now.
China and Pakistan, they are extending their support to the Afghanistan.
You see, the whole world, other than India, and India is isolated. Look at Afghanistan's neighbors, Iran, Uzbekistan, Russia, China, and some of the other countries in the Central Asia. I mean, they all recognize a simple truth that Taliban is now under control. You have to deal with the Taliban. So they are all dealing. Where is India? Where is the government of India? And we are the ones who actually gave Afghanistan the maximum aid for development. Even the United Nations recognizes India's assistance was the most, building schools, hospitals, colleges, roads, everything. Now, what is the Indian reaction? We just don't. Now the point is, USA, now the world must understand, this is not the fact that why did USA withdraw so abruptly. The fact is that USA should never have gone there. That is the fact that is confirmed. Like they should have never have gone into Vietnam, they had to leave. And they never should have actually gone into Afghanistan. You are seen, you meaning India is seen today as the subordinate ally of USA. That is a misfortune that this government has done. At least for 10 days now, or for 2 weeks, it was clear, evident what was going to happen. What were our preemptive moves? And there are a large number of Indians there in Afghanistan. I mean, when that Danish was killed by the Taliban apologized for what they did. But the Prime Minister of India has not one reaction. He normally tweets on everything. But on this death, he did not react at all. Now, it is very obvious what they are up to. I mean, they've got their own agenda. And that is communal polarization, that's all. But as a result, this is a very grave humanitarian problem for the Indians there.
ஒரு நிமிஷம் அப்புறம் கேளு. அதாவது கட்சியினுடைய 2 நாள் மாநில குழு கூட்டம் இப்போ பொதுச்செயலர் சீதாராம் யெச்சூரி பேசுகிறப்ப சொன்னார், மத்திய பாஜக அரசினுடைய மக்கள் விரோத கொள்கைகள் நடவடிக்கைகளை எதிர்த்து ஒரு 15 முழக்கங்களை முன் வச்சு நாடு முழுவதும் செப்டம்பர் மாதம் கண்டன இயக்கம். அப்போ மத்திய குழுவினுடைய இந்த முடிவு இருக்கணுங்க, மத்திய பாஜக அதற்கு எதிரான கண்டன இயக்கத்தை தமிழகத்தில் செப்டம்பர் மாதம் எப்படி நடத்துவது என்று 2 நாள் மாநில குழு கூட்டம் விவாதிக்க இருக்கிறது. அதையடுத்து எங்கள் கட்சியினுடைய 23வது அகில இந்திய மாநாடு அடுத்த ஆண்டு ஏப்ரல் மாதம் கேரளாவில் கண்ணூரில் நடக்க இருக்கிறது. அந்த அகில இந்திய 23வது மாநாட்டுக்கு முன்னதாக கட்சியினுடைய கிளை மாநாடுகள், ஒன்றிய நகர மாநாடுகள், மாவட்ட மாநாடுகள், பிறகு மாநில மாநாடுகள் எல்லாம் நடத்த வேண்டியது இருக்கு. இப்போ 2ஆம் மாநில குழு கூட்டத்தில் தமிழ்நாட்டில் மத்திய அரசாங்கத்துக்கு எதிரான இயக்கத்தை நடத்துவது குறித்தும் கிளை மாநாடுகள் மாநில மாநாடு நடத்துவது குறித்தும் மாநில குழு 2 நாள் விவாதித்து முடிவெடுக்க இருக்கிறது. அதற்காக மாநில குழு கூட்டம் இங்கே நடக்குது.
They know very well how to control the price, but they know better how to loot the people. That they know better. How to control? Control means gas is also petroleum excise duty. It comes under. Abolish your excise duties on petroleum products. All these prices will come down, and international prices are at the lowest now. Natural gas also. That's what I said. They've abolished the subsidy on cooking gas virtually. I mean, without officially saying that. You see, favoring your big corporates, unless you have laws saying that any vehicle after 10 years will not be allowed to be flying. How will the car manufacturer sell his cars, and how will he make his profits? And if you are a government who are more interested in their profits than in people's lives, the scrapping policy is actually to help auto producers, manufacturers, to sell their products in a situation of a global recession. You see, car-space census has already been done once. It is not being released by the government. It was already done in the 1911 census operation after that. That is there, lying with the government. Now 21 census, now because of COVID it's been delayed. Now when that is done, that is a demand saying do it again. No, our point is government answer, why have they not released the earlier one? Tell us on one hand you are now championing the OBCs. In Uttar Pradesh, the whole target to win the election is now the OBC. On the other hand, you do such subterfuge. That is why this government doesn't come clean, doesn't come straightforward, we don't know what it is doing. It has not reacted on this caste census yet. Their own ally, Nitish Kumar, is also raising it. The fact is, when that bill was also passed, that bill, Constitution Amendment, was passed not because of the Modi government's desire. It was passed because of the Supreme Court order, saying that unless you amend the Constitution and make a law, existing law, we cannot give this right to you. We are right now saying first government answer, what is the position? We are not opposing a caste census. Neither are we saying that you do it now immediately. What we are saying, first government say what has it done with that data that it has? Why was it not put out? Okay?
Okay, thank you.